All right, let's go ahead and do a highlight video here. 4-game 181-182 LSU and Auburn. I'm ATS Radio host Adam Burke. Joining me, professional bettor and handicapper Brad Powers from bradpowersports.com. And this is a big one here in the SEC West between, as I mentioned, LSU and Auburn. Tigers guaranteed to win this game, but which university's Tigers will win?
I'm going to go the dog here. I'm going to go Auburn. And the home team's been the pick in the series. I mean, the home team is 17-3 last 20 times they've played. That shows you how close they are, that home field could be that much of an advantage. But it also shows you, man, home field must be a big advantage. Although COVID 2020 year, home field maybe doesn't mean as much. So maybe throw that stat out the window. Here's where I do think there's value. I think LSU got upgraded too much for last week's blowout win over South Carolina. If you look at statistically, and maybe this is why LSU's favored, Auburn lost at South Carolina 2 weeks ago. LSU just got done beating South Carolina by 4 touchdowns last week. So maybe that's why. But you dive into the box scores of each game, and honestly, even though you got a huge discrepancy there, if you look statistically, Auburn had a more impressive performance against South Carolina than LSU did. And for that reason and that reason alone, I think there's value on Auburn. I have Auburn in my power rankings. This is one of my biggest overlays of the week by like a point. So that should signify a bet for me. It's just Auburn hasn't looked good hardly in any game so far this season for me. That gives me a little bit of pause, but I think wrong team favored.
Yeah, I think the wrong team's favored here too. And again, I mean, I only have Auburn minus half a point, so this one's pretty close. And when I do upgrade my home field, it'd be Auburn minus 1.5. So, it's still a wrong team favorite situation for me. I'm not eager to go out there and play the 3. If I find a cheap 3, minus 0.5, even money, something like that, at that point, I'll probably take a piece of Auburn. If I find a 3.5, I'm certainly taking a piece of Auburn here. But like you said, Auburn outgained South Carolina quite considerably in that game at Williams-Brice.
Turnovers.
Bo Nix just had turnovers. And that is the thing you worry about with Bo Nix. But also, no Miles Brennan for LSU again this week. Was that a 1-week blip because South Carolina didn't really know exactly what to prep for? And now Auburn has some game film on Finley. That could be a possibility. Also, Auburn, home underdog 16 times over the last decade or so, 8-8 straight up. They're 10-6 against the spread, 8-8 straight up as a home underdog. 5 of those, of course, being Iron Bowls against Alabama. So, I like Auburn here. And again, I've got to get the right number to do so. That's very important to me, especially because Auburn probably loses the turnover battle. But again, a cheap 3 or a 3.5 on Auburn, and I'm a player.
I'm not sure they lose the turnover battle. I mean, first road start for a freshman quarterback. I mean, he did look good last week. I just, it might be a one-off. Again, it concerns me because it's such a big game. And the money, and this is one where I thought Circa had it right. I think they had it pick. That one made a hell of a lot of sense to me. I disagree with the market, and now we're getting to the point it's going to be Halloween. I just, that concerns me when I'm so far off a big game like this one. But I got to play my ratings, trust what I've seen on the field. I just think LSU's getting upgraded too much for last week. So Auburn's the play. Clear pick for me. Probably if I can get 3.5 or, like you said, a 3 reduced, it'll make my card. So it'll be one of my top side plays on Saturday.
Well, there you go. Consensus pick for us here on this LSU Auburn game. Both of us looking in Auburn's direction here for this one down at Jordan Hare. Make sure you check out our full editions of ATS Radio, which you can find on Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever you stream and download your podcast content.